In the autumn of 105 BC, two Roman armies stood encamped on the banks of the River Rhone, together nearly 80,000 legionaries and allied soldiers, one of the largest forces the Republic had ever assembled. Facing them across the water was a migrating ocean of humanity, the Cimbri and Teutones, Germanic tribes hundreds of thousands strong, with their wagons, their women, their children, all searching for a new homeland. What unfolded over the next 48 hours would become the deadliest military catastrophe in the history of ancient Rome, surpassing even Cannae, surpassing the Teutoburg Wars. And it was triggered by a single, devastating order, an order born not of strategy, but of aristocratic arrogance. The Cimbri and Teutones have been migrating southward from the Jutland Peninsula for over a decade, shattering every Roman army sent against them. At Narea in 113 BC, in the Rhone Valley in 109 BC, and at Agen in 107 BC. The Senate called it the Terror Cimbricus, a dread not felt since Hannibal crossed the Alps a century earlier. By 105 BC, the Senate resolved to meet the threat with overwhelming force, dispatching two armies to southern Gaul to intercept the migration before it reached Italy. The first was commanded by the Proconsul Quintus Servilius Caepio, a man of ancient patrician lineage, a member of Rome's untouchable aristocratic elite. The second was sent under Gnaeus Mallius Maximus, one of the two serving consuls, the highest executive office in the Republic. Here the fatal crack appeared. By constitutional law, Mallius outtrained Caepio. He was the senior commander with legitimate authority over all Roman forces in the province. But Mallius was a novus homo, a new man, the first in his family ever to reach the consulship. He carried no wax masks of ancestors, no centuries-deep senatorial pedigree, and to Caepio, whose bloodline stretched back to the founding of the Republic, serving under such a person was unthinkable. The two armies converged near Arausio, modern-day Orange in southern France, on the eastern bank of the Rhone. Caepio, refusing to place himself under Mallius, pitched his camp separately across the river. The Roman force, 80,000 soldiers, was now split in two, divided not by tactic, but by patrician pride. When the Senate sent envoys pleading with the commanders to unite for the survival of the Republic, Caepio dismissed them. He would not take orders from a man whose ancestors were nobles. Meanwhile, the Cimbri and Teutones, under Kings Boiorix and Teutoburg, drew near and sensed division. Uncertain of their chances, the tribal kings sent ambassadors to negotiate peace, asking for land to settle and grain to sow. They approached Mallius, the consul, the legally recognized senior commander. When Caepio learned that the barbarian envoys had gone to Mallius, to the new man, something inside him broke. The tribes themselves recognized Mallius as the legitimate authority, bypassing a Servilius Caepio of the noblest blood in Rome. Ancient sources record that Caepio came close to attacking the ambassadors personally and rejected every peace overture with such contempt that war became inevitable. Then, on the morning of October the 6th, 105 BC, Caepio issued the order, fearing Mallius might claim credit for a settlement, or worse, win a battle and seize the glory. Caepio commanded his army to attack the Cimbri encampment alone. No coordination, no messenger, no signal. He simply attacked. The assault was a calamity from its first moments. The Cimbri absorbed the attack and counterattacked with overwhelming force. Caepio's legions shattered and his men fled. The tribesmen stormed his undefended camp, seizing supplies, weapons, and the gold of Tolosa, a sacred hoard Caepio had looted from a Gallic temple, so ill-gotten that Romans later said it carried a curse. Emboldened, the Cimbri turned toward Mallius's army on the opposite bank. Mallius's men had witnessed everything: the smoke, the cries, the destruction. Worse, their camp had been positioned with the Rhone at their backs. When the Cimbri struck, there was no retreat. Men in armor plunged into the river, and were swept away by the current. By sunset, both Roman armies had ceased to exist. The historian Valerius Antius, preserved in Livy, records 80,000 soldiers perished that day, along with 40,000 camp followers, 120,000 soldiers, surpassing Cannae as Rome's worst military disaster. October the 6th was declared a black day on the Roman calendar. Panic consumed Rome. No army remained between the Cimbri and the capital. Citizens wept in the streets. Senators debated through the night. Temples overflowed with desperate prayers. Yet, inexplicably, the Cimbri and Teutones turned westward into Spain. Granting Rome a reprieve it had done nothing to earn. The Senate stripped Caepio of command, put him on trial, and exiled him. Mallius too was banished, a broken man who had lost his son, his soldier, and his honor. Out of the ashes rose Gaius Marius, a novus homo like Mallius, but a military genius forged in the Juguthine War. Elected consul in absentia with the desperate backing of a terrified populace, Marius transformed the Roman army from a seasonal citizen militia into a professional standing force. At Aquisextii in 102 BC and Vercelli in 101 BC, he annihilated the same tribal confederation that had humbled Rome at Arausio. The Battle of Arausio remains one of history's starkest cautionary tales, a warning that pride and the refusal to serve something larger than oneself can destroy armies and bring civilizations to the brink. Caepio looked at the lawful commander of Rome's armies and saw not a colleague, but an inferior, because the man's ancestors were not famous enough. That single failure of character cost 80,000 lives and pushed the mightiest republic of the ancient world to the edge of collapse. The order that killed them was not a miscalculation. It was aristocratic arrogance, distilled into one irreversible command. If you believe history still has lessons to teach, subscribe to this channel and join the discussion below. Which moment of ancient hubris deserves its own episode? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, remember, the past is never as distant as it seems.